Architectural Builders Supply is pleased to present you with this recording of the technical question that is listed in the title of this video.
This call may be monitored and recorded for quality assurance.
Hey, this is kind of a weird call, but I was seeing some of your YouTube videos regarding door cover plates and so forth. I'm doing some research. I have a quick question for you on the product that I was watching one of your YouTube videos. It's called like a door cover plate or filler plate, mortise hole, cover plate. Does that sound familiar? That type of an item, product?
Well, I understand all the words that you've used. I don't know
okay.
that they go together in the way in which you've used them, but sure.
That's fine.
I mean, just tell me what you're working on.
Yeah, the question I have is, are those plates designed to be inset on the edge of the door, or do they just like
Which plate?
Piece of the plates that cover up where a deadbolt used to be?
In the face of the door, in the edge of the door?
Edge of the door, yeah.
Well, if you surface mounted it, do you expect your door would still close and it wouldn't?
Right.
So mortising them or them sitting flush to the edge of the door would be the standard installation.
Okay. Good to know. Okay, that's really all I need to know. Appreciate the time.
What plate are you looking at?
Well, I'm actually not looking to buy one. I'm just doing some research. It's actually for my wife was injured by a door in a department store that caught her wrist as it came back, and the plate is overhanging the edge of the door a little bit, and it's also kind of sharp. So I was just curious as to whether those plates are normally inset or...
Yeah. I got it.
Yeah.
So the predicament that you're in is not... this is not the first time someone has called and said, hey, is that the way that it is? Because someone got hurt. And I can tell you that, there is in our industry, there is documentation that states what things are supposed to look like. And the common application where people get hurt is when a department store, a dressing room, you got 5 doors on either side of the little hall, okay? So spring hinges are on those louvered doors, and when they set the tension on those spring hinges, sometimes the contractor will just stick a nail into it rather than the designed and approved piece of material that's meant to hold tension on the spring. Well, someone makes unintentional contact with that number 4 penny tempered finish nail, and one time a girl leaned up back against while her mom was in the changing room and slid, just a 10-year-old kid, slid down the door, just going to her knees or whatever, and put a gash in her back. And I've been called by attorneys in the past saying, hey, would you just, I'm not looking to involve you, but I'm just looking for, you to be a reflection on what I'm seeing here. So it would be very unusual, however, for that plate to be surface mounted, because if there was a deadbolt that was removed from the door, you would usually take that filler plate to blanket off, and it would sit into the same hole in preparation. Is this new or recent construction?
It is, no, it's an older TJ Maxx store here in Minneapolis.
Yeah, so, the bottom line is, I can definitely see how someone, walking through the opening, the door's closing, your hand, the underside of your wrist makes contact with sharp metal. I can see that. I would love to be able to look at what that door looks like. If you happen to have pictures of it, you can email them to me. But the answer to your question is a filler plate in the edge of the door is intended to be mortised flush to the edge of the door. That's the short answer.
Okay. And is there some industry standard or publication or?
There probably is somewhere. There's probably some generic document on hardware, and I say that meaning I just can't think of one.
Right.
However, contacting the manufacturer of filler plates, whether it be Don Joe or Rockwood or Hager or a million other people, no one is going to tell you that those are surface mounted because That you can't surface mount one. What I'm thinking, if someone surface mounted a piece of metal to the edge of the door to blank off that hole, it's not a filler plate. It's a piece of metal.
And that's what I'm thinking, because the picture, and maybe I will email you the picture, because the picture, the screws aren't tapered, so they go in flush and finish with the, you know what I mean? It's just like there's washers on top of the screw. Yeah.
To me, my email's under contact us in the upper right-hand corner. I'd love to take a look and at least tell you whether or not it's a filler plate. It's, I don't have an axe to grind. It's just, I don't at all, but I'll tell you if it's a filler plate.
Yeah. It looks like it's R. Howard at
that'll work.
absupply.net.
Yeah, that'll work.
Okay, cool. I appreciate your time, sir.
I look forward to it. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Have a good day. Bye.
Bye.
If you are enjoying this video, please click thumbs up or like, and also please consider subscribing to our channel. Let's move on to the rest of the video. Thank you for sharing the photograph of the filler plate. And the original question, while the original question was, are these meant to be mortised or flush, or inset was the term that was used, to the edge of the door? And the answer is yes, they are. So I can tell you that my opinion is that this is just a generic piece of metal that's been attached. It does definitely look like a filler plate, meaning it looks like a Hager, not Hager. It could be anyone. I'm just using Hager because I happen to have that part number somewhat memorized. It could be a filler plate for a hinge, and I say that because it could be 4.5 inch in length, or maybe 5 inch in length. Those are common filler plates. What makes me think that this is not a standard filler plate is the fact that those holes they may be in the center of the plate, or they may not be in the center of the plate. As I look at it, they do appear to be biased in this direction a little bit more. And it could be underneath here. We're seeing a little bit of evidence of that edge right here, and I don't really have a better picture of it. So it could be that it is a hinge filler that is 1.75 inches wide and whatever height, 4.5 or 5 inch tall. And I say 1.75 inches because this door is very likely 1.75 inches, and that plate appears to be the same thickness. Now, that's a hinge filler. That's meant to go into the hinge preparation in a door, in this case, in a door, on the hinge prep to blank that off, and there would be a very valid reason for doing so. And that plate would be flush with the edge of the door. Now, seeing obviously that there was likely a passage or a privacy set, probably a passage set on this door, because it's probably a multi-use bathroom, they would have put the push plate on this side, the same plate on the other side with a pull handle to cover the 2 1/8 inch hole. But what they should have used would be either a 336A by Hager or someone else, which is just 2 1/4 tall, 1.125 wide, or they could have used maybe a 336B. No, not a B. Let's take a look at our document again. A 2 3/4 tall version, which would be a deadbolt. Pardon me, a 2 1/4 tall and 1 inch wide plate. The only difference is they make two plates, 1.125 wide and then 1 inch wide. They're both 2 1/4 tall. What I'm driving at is the preparation in the edge of that door would have been one of the two. If there was any lock that was here, it would be very unlikely that it would be anything other than one of those. However, having said that, it could be something other than those. It could have been a lock prep for which there is no commercially available filler plate, meaning the person would have just slapped on what he could have got, or she could have gotten her hands on, and screwed it right to the edge of the door. The weird thing about this, as I had said earlier, because you're adding over 1/8 of an inch, well, with the head of the screws, a 1/4 inch in thickness, it strikes me as odd that the door still actually closes into the frame, because you normally wouldn't have that much additional gap between the edge of the door and the frame. So that is not a filler plate used for wood doors, pardon me, for lock edges, that's to be sure. So it's a bit of a mystery as to why the proper why the proper plate wasn't put on that door. Knowing that would be removing this from the edge of the door to see what it was that they were covering. And it's very likely just the wrong plate was used. And that's all there is to it. Projecting hardware is always a bad thing into an opening. Projecting hardware is always what we look to eliminate. You don't want hardware needlessly hanging into an opening, because people will walk through the door or the frame and they'll strike the crown of their watch on that projecting hardware, or a hand or something hits the hardware unintentionally. And while that's not a sharp edge, it is still steel. And, looking at the thickness of this and the fact that it's got this very irregular cut, apparently, this looks like it was just cut with a die grinder. It looks like there's discoloration here from heat. I'm completely guessing. I don't know. But that does not look like a typical piece of metal. Looks like it's just some sort of sheet metal, would be my guess. I hope that helps, and I can attest to that being a very unusual application of how and where to install a filler plate. Best of luck. Again, thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up. Please subscribe and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.